This is the story of how the Audi Quattro came about on the road and in motorsports. The Audi Quattro is one of the most iconic, crucial, and famous cars of the 1980s from Germany. This was the car that laid the foundation for the Audi brand's success today with its insane Quattro four-wheel drive system. As such, this car made a tremendous impact in the automotive world, even for Audi. To know why, we have to explore the origins of the Audi Quattro and how it came to be an amazing production car. Audi had been experimenting with all-wheel drive cars since the winter of 1976. An engineer for Audi, Georg Bensinger, fell in love with the Quattro system developed for the German military vehicle at the time. The all-wheel drive Volkswagen Iltis army truck had impressed the engineers with amazing performance on tough terrains such as dirt, snow, and ice. It was also very superior to any front-wheel drive cars of the time. This gave the idea for Audi to implement their all-wheel drive system in road cars. The Audi 80 was used as a test mule on tough terrains and certainly worked enough to be put into production for the public. The drive torque is evenly distributed between the front and rear, powering all four wheels at the same time with the best traction for perfect use on smooth and tough surfaces, even in treacherous weather. Walter Treaser was one of the leaders of the Audi Quattro program, including Audi's racing efforts, who came up with the suitable name Audi Quattro that would soon become famous, especially in the racing world. In 1980, the standalone Audi Quattro came out at the Geneva Motor Show based on the Audi 80 known as the Euro Quattro, defined as original or the first of its kind. The name Quattro simply means four in Italian and forever defines Audi as a brand with a four-circle logo. It made quite an impact as four-wheel drive cars until then were commonly reserved for utility in all-terrain vehicles. It attracted enthusiastic drivers for 11 straight years, and the all-wheel drive system itself was developed further for many future Audi models. The Euro Quattro was the first lightweight, all-wheel drive performance car in the world with the 200 horsepower turbocharged 2.2-liter inline 5 engine. It was unlike anything that came before and after it. It was a very fast car in a straight line for its time, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.7 seconds and a top speed of 137 miles per hour. Thanks to its turbo-fed performance sending power to all four wheels, thus groundbreaking levels of grip and handling as well that couldn't be matched on the road with poor conditions compared to any other performance car of the time. Audi's true innovation became present instantly in Group B of rally racing. Just when the FIA changed the rules where all-wheel drive was eligible in 1979, most manufacturers thought it was too complex and would add too much weight for cars to be successful and valuable too. The Audi Quattro was the first rally car on earth to take advantage of the new rules that allowed all-wheel drive in rally competition. The Euro Quattro A1 burst onto the rally scene in 1980 as a development car to build up experience with all-wheel drive. The only car to feature all-wheel drive in those early days of Group B, paired with a monstrous 5-cylinder engine pushing over 300 horsepower, and went on to dominate Group B for several years. It was wildly unbeatable on loose and slippery terrains. No one could have imagined how much of an impact Audi made on the world of rally. Before the 1980s, the World Rally Championship had been dominated by small rear-wheel drive cars like the Alpine Renault A110, Lancia Stratos HF, Ford Escort RS 1800, I can go on and on. But when Audi showed their new Quattro to the rally world, it was regarded as the king of rallying and showed other manufacturers all-wheel drive is a revolution for off-road racing. The Audi Quattro drove by the hands of top drivers such as Hannu Mikkola, Stig Blomqvist, and Michelle Mouton. In 1981, Michelle Mouton became the first and only female driver to win a round in World Rally Championship driving the Euro Quattro. The car proved unreliable in its debut season but earned 3 wins. Audi then dominated 2 WRC drivers and manufacturers titles in 1982 and again in 1984, ahead of its German and Italian rivals Opel and Lancia. While the car was a dominant force, the mid-engine rear-wheel drive Lancia 037 roughly beat Audi, winning the 1983 manufacturer's title. Audi was simply stunned that a rear-wheel drive mid-engine car could beat their four-wheel drive machine. Remarkably though, Mick Kola managed to win that year's driver title for Audi. However, 1985 saw Audi face a beating by the French Peugeot 205, where Peugeot won the title twice in 1985 and 1986. With the Euro Quattro being replaced, Audi built a more extreme version of the car, the Sport Quattro S1 Evolution 2. It was based on the road model Sport Quattro, which came out in 1984 and sold a limited total of 224 units worldwide. Group B required every car maker to sell at least 200 homologated road cars within a 12-month time to compete. The Quattro S1 E2 features some wild aerodynamics, a shorter wheelbase of the road car that used big wings and splitters for downforce rather than balance. It generated over a whopping 500 horsepower compared to the original Quattro A1 and A2. This is the most iconic version of the Quattro that most rally and normal gearheads memorized, given it revolutionized rallying twice. However, this version only had little success, despite how quick it was. It wasn't as competitive as it once had been early in the season. Even if it could win more races, in 1986, Group B finally came to an end and Audi left that final season with just one victory in their hands. Audi bought their Quattro at the famous Pikes Peak hill climb in Colorado, United States. Walter Worrell was most widely known for his success at Pikes Peak, winning 3 times in a row with the Sport Quattro. He also became the first driver to finish Pikes Peak under the 11-minute mark. Overall, 4 drivers behind Audi had won 23 World Championship rallies and 4 titles back home to Germany. The Audi Quattro will always be the king of Group B, showing everyone what a four-wheel drive machine can do across some of the most brutal weather and landscapes in the world. Audi Sport moved on from rallying to circuit racing. They chose to focus on the American audience as they experienced success in the European market of victories in the racing world. Audi expanded and influenced the Quattro program in US motor racing forever. They took their 200 luxury sedan to build the TransAm race car to compete in the Sports Car Club America TransAm Series in 1988. It was built to beat the Americans at their own game, thanks to the SCCA's allowance of all-wheel drive. Audi favors what a four-wheel drive machine with a tiny 2.1-liter turbo inline 5 making 500 horsepower could do on circuit racing, taking on Trans Am's beloved muscle cars, which relied on rear-wheel drive and big naturally aspirated V8 engines. The Audi 200 proved quick right from the start, taking a solid second place finish in the first race and scored 8 victories to win the season. The American fans quickly noticed Audi was a threat to the whole field of Trans Am. Audi won the 1988 manufacturer's title and Hurley Haywood won the driver's title. However, the teams had already criticized to the SCCA that Audi had an unfair advantage and that serious restrictions be placed on the Audi 200s. As a result, the regulations were modified throughout the season to hinder Audi. They forced the Germans to be fitted with smaller tires, nerfed the car's air restrictor, and carry a heavier weight. And guess what? Despite their efforts, none of those rule changes have worked. Audi still beat everyone in Trans Am, shocking the American motorsport culture. Audi was so advantageous that they were not invited back for next season. The SCCA permanently banned all-wheel drive systems in Trans Am after 1988. But in place of Trans Am, Audi earned the highest level of production racing in America. Even with rule changes, Audi didn't care because they already laid plans to go bigger and take on the IMSA series in 1989, which allowed the freedom of all-wheel drive. To this day, Audi still competes in IMSA and motorsports around the world. They took the 90 Quattro sedan, similar to the 200, to build their 90 GTO to compete and dominate the IMSA GT Championship. Just like the Trans Am 200, the 90 GTO had 4 doors and an all-wheel drive system carried over. It was mostly similar to the aforementioned Quattro Group B car with the Audi 90 body. Underneath was a new tube-frame chassis, a beefy turbo inline 5 engine with a 4-valve head thrusting out 720 horsepower. The weight to power ratio and engine sound were just extremely mental. When the 1989 season began, the same driver lineup that had won TransAm hoped for a repeat in IMSA. However, a pair of 90 GTOs had a rough start and missed the first two major important races of the season, 24 hours of Daytona and 12 hours of Sebring, due to a development delay. The reason is because the engine reliability was a huge concern for Audi in the long run, so they took their time to work on that before the cars made their debut on the track. The third race of the season took place in Miami, Florida, and Audi showed up for the first time but failed to finish the race due to misfortunes and mechanical failures. After that point, the team has spent at least 2 months until the next race to test the car's strength and flaws, and quickly learned to get their head in the game. The 90 GTO was the first car Audi fitted with the real-life telemetry, and they recorded speeds, pressures, and temperatures to collect all the data to refine the car. The team then stormed back onto the scene against its rivals of Mercury Cougars and Nissan Fairladies, taking 9 podiums out of its 13 races it competed in, with 5 1-2 finishes. Hans Stuck, who secured 4 victories, stated the 90 GTO was one of his favorite cars. One of the reasons was because it was super lightweight, combined with the classic Quattro all-wheel drive system that allows the car to go everywhere on the track. The 90 GTO was a dominant force in IMSA, but not as dominant as the 200 TransAm. It won 7 races and would have certainly won the IMSA GT championship if Audi didn't have issues and absence. But in the end, Audi was beaten by Mercury but was still highly successful, taking 3rd place in the GTO standings. Audi was then rewarded to return for the 1990 season, but dropped out of IMSA after the 89 season and already prepared their career in the DTM series back home to Germany in 1990. Audi still competes in the DTM series today. Between 1984 to 1996 was the original and golden era of DTM that provided fantastic racing. Audi chose its first ever flagship executive sedan, called the Audi V8 Quattro, to take on the BMW M3 and Mercedes 190 Evolution within Group A regulations. Whereas the BMW and Mercedes DTMs were small, rear-wheel drive, lightweight, and less powerful, the Audi V8 was a huge sedan just like its last 2 racing predecessors, and heavy with a big engine. Its 3.6-liter naturally aspirated V8 pushes 463 horsepower to all 4 wheels through a 6-speed manual gearbox. Despite the car's weight of 1220 kilograms or 2689 pounds, it still was enough to overcome its lighter rivals. Unlike the rest of its competition, Audi was the only entry with a V8 engine and all-wheel drive system. As soon as the V8 Quattro hit the track, it was a winner from the start. Hans Stuck and Frank Biela, driving the Audi V8, took championship titles in 1990 and 1991. However, Audi was unable to repeat that success in 1992 because the regulations have gotten stricter. The V8 Quattro's weight was increased by the DTM organizer ITR, knocking Audi out of contention. Plus, Audi had tried something new with their V8 Quattro. Audi had changed their engine to a 180-degree flat plane crank when formerly used a 90-degree cross plane crank. It was initially approved, but later was deemed illegal by the changed rules. At that point, Audi didn't give a flying crap and was fed up with their racing efforts from DTM over dissatisfaction with the rules. In the late 1990s, Audi Sport developed the A4 Quattro Super Tourer to be the best of the best unlike any other car internationally. In 1996, the A4 dominated the Super Touring competition and won the title across 8 countries. After that, Audi Sport has stopped utilizing the old school Quattro all-wheel drive system and motorsports at the time. Then, in 1999, Audi Sport was developing a top-tier Le Mans prototype, rehearsing to race at the 24 Hours of Le Mans endurance race for the first time. I made a specific video all about Audi's dominance at Le Mans, so be sure to check it out if you have not watched it yet. In conclusion, the Audi Quattro is forever an icon that not only changed Audi forever, but changed the motorsport and automotive world forever. And so, that wraps up this video, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did find this video very interesting, you can get more by subscribing to my YouTube channel and providing suggestions in the comments down below, and I will check them out. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the very next video. Peace out, stay safe, Chris the Radar, out.